push-ups.
John's doing push-ups. Your morning, every morning at this time is push-ups. Guys, you know, that's one of the things that John has always been consistent with. And I know that he has really helped a lot of people around the world to start on this physical fitness and energetic transformation that he's always talking about.
Change your technology, change your focus, change your language, change your life, and that's what we get to do here every day, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Rory. This is my wife, Silly Lily. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Thank you for coming and joining us today. We got John Berfelo, Johnny B to a lot of people. Written a couple of books now, John. You've got your light book. You've got your 42 quotes now. And you've also got something else coming up on, you know, VPD and no, I think more the curing side of things as well. I think John probably went to grab one of his books. And yes, exactly. Mad respect for Johnny. Yeah. Woo! And that's your 42 quotes, right?
And you know what? It's supposed to be 224 pages. The last page is 224 and 225 pages the picture of me. Save the Terps.
You damn right, man. And you've been educating for a long time. That's what we're talking about this morning is education, the key to growth. But it's the key to all growth is education. Wouldn't you say? And you're educating yourself right now on AI.
Education is the key. It's called personal development. That's how you grow. Right? Yeah. Problems make us grow. We're not unique. So we got to learn. And as we evolve, you have to evolve with today's times. Yep. And as we're evolving quickly than we ever have before in humanity and mankind, AI, regenerative AI, what's going on with editing, and I'm in courses every day and being certified in AI to help grow more, like inventing things and creating new things, and how I have a custom agent run my grow by looking through the dials icons.
You got some amazing stuff happening, John, and I'm going to bring up the website for people that want to check out the AI stuff that you're teaching, because it's helping people to grow better, to breathe better, etc.
Right now we have ChatGPT 4.0, so everybody has access. And what I've done, and we can go into this now, is if you don't pay for it, you can't create these times. But if you have ChatGPT 4.0, you're able to actually utilize these tools. And on my Greenway AI, and on the second page, you'll see I have courses there now too. I'm giving people some really new tools they can use so they can grow forward more, so they can actually adapt and see. I mean, this is a super intelligence, and some people don't want to learn. I'm sorry, you don't want to evolve, because this is what's happening today. It's like the light bulb, right? And then we evolved into the LED light, right? People don't use conventional light bulbs anymore. We don't use CDs anymore. We don't use right? Because we evolve into a new system. This is the new system. This is the new involvement, replacement elements, auto adjusting. Everything is happening. Cutting edge technologies. What I mean, because it's sitting right here, right? Yeah. And Hetty's behind me taking the courses. You know, she's taking pictures, as you can see that. Paul's right there too, because we need to learn. This is how we grow, guys. And I'm here to teach you and understand how I've grown in my garden through the history and through time. This is the same growth I'm giving you. And believe me, I've had hate on my channel. You guys are pretty scared. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Because the involvement of where we're going and how we can actually enhance and replacing things right now. They're enhancing, replacing face images and stuff like that. You can do so much with AI. I mean, we're at a point right now. We're at a point right now with AI that they're going to hold off until the election until they release the new model, because they know it would screw with the election.
Well, good for them. Good for them. But I want to give a shout out to Grow Big TV, Joe and Corky. I'm actually on their show tomorrow night. They've invited me to come on and talk about biology. So I just wanted to give you guys a big shout out.
I like that. You know what? That sounds like a really good thing. We start talking about the biology and what's going on with Mother Earth, and we can actually now start Well, I was just telling you, Ken, is how we used AI to create a weight loss pill that's actually going to revolutionise change weight loss for everybody.
Yeah, you were talking about that. That's actually a big deal for globally for people in the first world countries, not so much the third world, but here we have a definite problem with obesity in the world going on.
One more. I can see I had like one more photo. Well, it's just with anything, right? And we're able to take a look at how we can use different tools. Like, you'll look at one on the website, genealogy. You'll be able to look at how it can create different strains and the terpenes it's going to give, and its crosses and what it can create.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear
and
it? Did you hear it? I'm gonna be able to put different strings that I've already have and go as a string PD goes all these different contexts because I've already programmed it in the back end of what to look for. It takes those genealogy, puts it together, and goes, well, this is what the episode is going to come and what it's going to be able to create. You're like, what flavors you're going to get, because we've been doing this like crazy through time, but now we can actually start finding key things, key terpenes, key flavors, and create things by utilizing like really like we wing it, right? I got Medi Mac going now, so I got Medi Kush cost with the Mac 1 cap cut. It's good. Like, and then I got the wrong old school ramen that cost with my Medi. I put that into the database. It's telling me what I'm going to get. I'm going to do a little. I'm going to show you guys because it's pretty cool to read what I'm creating for myself and understanding that, and then utilizing tools that we can grow forward. And that's the power of being able to kind of continue to grow, right? Because we can utilize things, and that's how we've learned. That's how we learned all about the biology because we had no fucking idea. Excuse my language. We had no idea. But people like Ken and other people around the world started looking at what we needed to do and started taking a look like Gary. I have other people that even do with Leighton Morris and all these people. And there's so many amazing minds out there that are working together. Now you have a super intelligence you can work with too to help get that creation because we're all trying to do one thing, help other people and help the evolving humanity and where we're going to be going. Because it's not about us right now. It's about that 100 years, guys.
It's really about the children and the children's children.
And that's what we're looking at as we get to as we evolve, as in our age, and as we evolve in humanity, we evolve in how we can actually give back. And this is the tools that we can actually evolve with to give back.
Yeah.
And it really is about growth. It's about the power hour, right? Because it's the power hour is your growth and what you can do with that hour. It's the vision that you create, right? Fulfilling where you want to go and seeing that vision and concentrating on that focus, right?
Yeah. Now, on that focus point, I want to focus on something that we're going to be changing, guys. We're actually going to be changing our start time an hour later because John's in courses at this time until like the end of the year now. So we're going to be changing the OG's Power Hour by 1 hour later than we are now. So it'll be starting at 11 a.m. Pacific.
And what will be great about this is, we can even talk about that, Ken, because as I start moving in towards being able to offer more education and growth to the industry and stuff like that, I can announce this right now. So on Wednesdays, I'm going to be doing my weekly live. I might move it to here then of what's going on with AI in the world.
Sure.
Weekly updates, right? I was going to do this on Wednesday mornings. And then on the weekends, I'm going to be doing a webinars on AI. And this is going to be advancing because I'm in an AI certification course to be certified to teach and help businesses grow in AI. So I've accepted some of these courses that I've been involved with for quite some time, and I get to be a part of the change here by helping educate people by removing that limiting belief behind what we actually can create and showing you what we can do with it. Like I've been showing over time with what I've been able to evolve with, I want to show you those same ways of helping you grow within your garden and in your life because these tools are going to help us so much. Yeah, and I love growing. So I was saying this morning and stuff like that on the morning meeting is I get to continue growing what I love doing. And I can use AI to advance on it and kind of have fun. But I grow for therapy. I grow because it gets me what I need, which is growth. I get to see that contribution and wellness. So depending on what you want to grow and how you want to grow, growing is therapy for me. It gives me my passion. It gives me that ability to continue to grow farther in my life and how far I've grown from today.
Well, and your education helps you get up every single morning because it's giving you that satisfaction that you need. And it's whether you're growing plants or whether we're growing ourselves with the education, whether we're learning to AI, whether we're learning, biology, whether we're learning mechanical engineering. It's the passion behind it that pulls you forward.
You know how long it took me to learn this remote control? Are you kidding me? I mean, come on, I could probably teach a lesson on remote control and how to use remote control.
Yeah.
See how much you learn? Because you have to study something you want to learn. Now I don't. I probably have to take a course on how to use that thing.
Well, it's 10,000 hours to be considered an expert in any field. So,
really?
That's what
It's really good. I'm an expert in so many things. I'm an expert in procrastination, 100%.
Oh, yeah. I think we're all good at that one someday.
I'm an expert in smoking weed.
I don't know if you've got 10,000 joints in there yet, man.
I'm an expert in using a pen.
Oh, okay.
Write it. What you write, you invite. Write down what you want to see and like where you're gonna go.
Yeah.
Did you get anything from this morning, Eddie? Is he just talking about basic bullshit? I'm not getting anything from this.
He's talking about how generative AI works.
Yeah. Generative AI works very much in how you look at it, how AI is working and evolving. It's in imaging. And it's all about imaging. Yeah. It's all about sizing imaging. And it's really, to me, it doesn't really give me that really pizzazz because I can use my cell phone and I can pull up my phone and I can actually, my phone, you can't hear it. So there's no point in me showing you because you can't hear nothing because I got this old iPhone. Yeah. Everybody knows. So I can actually open up my ChatGPT 4.0 and access camera and just go, okay, Q. So what do you see happening in the image right now, and how would I better, deal with the situation? It would tell me, and it will read it. It'll tell you what's happening in the picture and the context. It will reply back to me in certain voice tones now. So Stable Diffusion online is huge. That's what we're looking at right now, which is Stable Diffusion on the web. So. Now I get to work. Gotta go. Pause.
We're getting an information blast from John, and that's part of the education. And thank you, John, for sharing little bits and pieces. And guys, go to his channel if you're interested in the benefits of AI in your growth and your education. Then check out the greenway.ai, check out one of John's Wednesday calls and learn, because it's really, it doesn't matter what you're doing in your life. If you're not educating yourself that little bit every day, then you're falling behind. You're ending up in a rut, whether it's in growing a plant, whether it's growing your life, whether it's educating your own children. It's that education that keeps moving you and advancing you forward. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Terrence Howard. He was an actor, but he's also an amazing man who's come up with some amazing things that he has created. And that's another level of education. Listening to Dr. Elaine Ingham, to David Johnson, to Matt Powers. There's all of these voices that you can listen to for education. The more education, the more you bring into your mind, the more potential you have. We talked about 10,000 hours to be an expert on a topic. Now, there's an education where there's blindfolds that you have to deal with, and that's your normal classical education. They put blinders on you so you can only focus in one area. A lot of the scientists I like to listen to are more a multi-science perspective. They were engineers first before they got into this, or they have 3 different disciplines. I find that the people that expand and get rid of those blinders, where they can see everything and then they can choose what works best. They can also take data from one type of an education and apply it to another to make things fit, I guess, more easily would be the way to put it. It's how I track down the information that I know. I watched and watched and watched hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of presentations of scientists talking at universities, podcasts like this, the Soil Matters, that's one of the reasons we bring on so many different people, keep bringing back a lot of scientists that are at the cutting edge. Gerald Pollock, James White. You look at people like Dennis Meehan, who his sons crushed crystals up to put into their raised bed to help raise the energy, and to understand more of how the crystal energy works in a grow. Check out Terrence Howard. He just did a thing with Joe Rogan, a 3-hour show, and they're going to have him back on because there's so much more to explore. But there's understandings that we are just finding out about. There are methods of growing that we never correlated the data points to make it flow properly, but now we're finding these key points of understanding in the education of growing plants. John is growing AI, he's growing himself. I've grown myself in my education. And that's why we really want to help people to grow. And that's one of the key reasons that this channel exists in its entirety, is to help people to bring new knowledge out on so many different things that we can help more and more people. Now, John's focusing on AI right now. He was focused on growing cannabis in his garage, and we were able to learn so much from his.
Focusing on growing cannabis in my garage. What's wrong with you? What do you mean I was and I'm there? I'm going to give you a smack right now. You don't think I saw?
You haven't grown in your garage for what, 3 years?
Well, no, I got 2 years. In a year after they got hit, I kept growing, and then I was able to go outside. So I took some time off. I started growing upstairs, and then I started growing at other locations and consulting and helping others and growing in bigger shows. And I get to be in every day. So now I've been in kind of like some 20 and 15 light shows, working with those and setting lights in them. So I offer value there. The garage is turning into a mini home.
Cool. Well, and see, then you're not growing in your garage, although you built a section on your garage, I think, that you're going to have strictly for growing, correct?
Of course, I'm growing my cannabis, cucumbers, peppers, and tomatoes. Because you got to grow food. Yep. It's going to be the most important thing we ever grow in our lives, guys. You have to consult and grow your own. Okay? So in 100 years, it's about cannabis, cucumbers, peppers, and tomatoes growing on the 100th floor in 100 years. Growing your own, being self-sufficient. And that's what we should all be looking at here, and that's what this is all about. We talked about this for so long. You need the biology to keep growing. It needs to be natural. You need to be able to be growing your own food, because AI is not going to grow your food for you. It's going to control certain things. But you can be able to grow your own humanity, it's your own brain. Growing for me is therapeutic. It's not about anything else. It's not about money, nothing. It's about the therapeutic benefits it gives me and how I can continue to grow my life, and seeing how things happen and change happens no matter how you look at it. Change is inevitable. Progress is not. Progress is all of the conscious choice in where you're going and what you're doing. So remember, we consciously are growing and learning from how the plant is evolving and growing, because every time you grow that plant, it comes out differently. Every time you grow, something else comes from that plant. And every time you grow, you learn something new. Every time. Every time you see something different. And that's the involvement of the therapeutic benefits of growing your own. It's being able to see the changes, not just in your life, but when you see it in the plant, you start seeing, but that's your life. You change too. Every day is a new day, just like in your garden, just like in your life. So present that. And then growing is a therapeutic way of being able to be self-sufficient for oneself's mental and emotional mind, and seeing the growth of oneself and in a plant, and be able to adapt to it and learn it. Right? What's that? AI, consulting certification. That's my course, by the way. Okay.
Yep.
That's it.
Bye, John. John's just gonna come on. He's gonna give his rant there, and then we're gonna just carry on. Keep going. But education is that key to success in whatever you want to do. So if you want to be an electrician, you better educate yourself on what happens with electricity, the different cables, the different, breakers, etc. But with growing plants, you want to focus on the different plants you're growing and what they need for their health, as in the nutrients, the building blocks that are necessary for that plant to reach its full genetic potential. Now, in order to do that, you're going to need to educate yourself on different methods that you can add those components, and understanding that at the base of everything, because you can have all the calcium in your soil that you want, if you don't have the biology to use that calcium to bring it to the cells that the biology is building in your plant, it doesn't matter. Without that base of life, you can have everything in your soil you'd ever want. You can throw, green sand and, everything in there in the kitchen sink, and a house or two, and, a couple of, polar bears. It doesn't matter if you don't have the biology to break that down to its core element. So we're talking down to the size of the molecule itself. How do you think biology breaks down glyphosate? Okay. It takes it literally rips it apart. And as Terrence Howard has pointed out in some of his stuff, it unravels the molecule. Okay. So you have this molecule, and it's called glyphosate, and it's, so much of this, so much of this, so much of this. Well, the biology takes those and pulls them apart down to their component parts to feed back to different biology that is building different things, whether that's building a cell or building more biology. Having the core components is only a very small fraction of what is necessary with the life. If you have the life, your life can break out a lot of those components out of sand, silt, clay, organic material. It's the volume of life that's going to keep up with a plant, especially if you're, continually cropping in the same soil system. Like somebody like Tom Landry, he needs to continually add organic material, as well as keeping the life refreshed and happy and so biologically diverse. It just, the system starts to regenerate itself. That's where we talk about terra preta, and it's all about the biology in the terra preta as well. We find different things in terra preta, the broken shards of pottery and the biochar, and when you look deeper in that entire structure, and it can be 20, 30, 40, 50 feet deep, actually regenerates itself, which means it has to create lignin. That's a base component that all biology can use to grow not only itself, but healthy plants. So there's enough biology in that system where it's literally taking components from the air and creating lignin, which grows itself, which grows that environment. That's what happens in a true living soil over time. Okay. And by putting in the right components, the right biology, etc., you can speed that time frame up from years to, months, etc. But if you don't have the education on what to add, why you're adding it, and that's more of the key, is the why behind what you're learning. I can, learn pretty much anything that science has out there, and, people are talking about. I have the capability, as you do, to learn that. But if you don't understand the why behind what you're doing, then you're really just doing things by route. You're worse than a robot, because you're not doing what you have the potential of. A robot that's building, say, a Tesla car is programmed very specifically to do a very specific job, and that's all it can do. AI is another level of that intelligence, okay? And it's multidimensional, as it has a lot more availability of information it can compile. It could run that robot. It could probably program that robot to be even that much more precise, given the right input, the right education. And we are the ultimate AI. We are not artificial. We're, you know, energetically bound to these bodies, you know, we have a physical form where AI is ones and zeros, but it can help us to enhance our education, whether you're learning about biology or engineering or anything like that. It can help, you know, as John is saying, you know, he can teach you how to write a book from start to finish using AI, using all of this information that you can gather. So if you're interested in a topic, okay, whether it's plants, whether it's cannabis, whether it's roses, cucumbers, or tomatoes, you can use these tools to educate yourself, to grow your own mind, your own spirit, your own energy. The more you input that data, the more you can see different points of connection. And that's all I love to do, is research to find those points of connections, to draw those lines together, and, you know, being able to bring that together into a picture that I can present to not only myself, but my wife, my friends, my family, you guys, that makes sense in both the scientific, the energetic, the different philosophies on life. It is so much more with education. And whatever plant you want to grow, the more you understand about that specific plant, its needs, its desires, because a plant desires to have the best life that a plant can have. We're finding out now that everything is alive. Every cell is alive. It has a life energy. And that's one of the reasons I mentioned Terrence Howard, because he's being able to show that also, that everything is alive. Understanding that life is more than just, you know, these big physical forms. It is the smallest, you know, component of the biology that exists, building the interior of that cell, building that original structure, bringing in those components, eating that sand, breaking down the different silicas that are available to it, the different organic material that is available to it, and using its knowledge to bring that together to build a healthy cell. If you don't have a healthy cell, you have a free radical, and you don't have true health. You have a problem starting. So in your education, whatever you're looking into, do the deeper research. You know, you can use AI if you want to grow, you know, a Roma tomato. Okay, there's enough information out there across the globe and the internet that you can find out down to the cell structure what a tomato or a Roma tomato specifically needs for health, whether, you know, that's your boron, your calcium, your magnesium, iron, etc. And you can supply that to your soil system in small amounts so you don't throw things out of balance. That's another part of educating yourself, of don't be a moron. Don't just keep putting more of things on, you know, put less on, spread it out over time in a grow. Now, if you're growing indoors, okay, and you're doing a continual cycling, then if you're not, you know, pulling your soil out, throwing it into a compost bin, re-amending, letting the biology break all that down over 30-day period, and then using that soil again, if you're sticking to a true living bed where you're not disturbing it, you know, or minimally disturbing your soil, then that life is going to just keep breaking down what you're giving it to grow your plant. And in plant growth, it's all coming down to the components and the biology that is available to make health. Now, we can look at genetics of a plant, and that's what John is talking about with, you know, some of the things that he's built for the cannabis industry is really diving down to the genetic coding of the different plants and what the different plant brings into the picture. But we wouldn't have that if John wasn't doing the education that John has undertaken and is willing to share with us. How many choruses are out there that are tens of thousands of dollars that you would have to take to get the information that John is going to be able to share with you, because he's been learning this for years now. So John's going to be a professor of AI, and I think he should be teaching at the university, but he's more wanting to reach more people, to help more people educate themselves on using these tools, which is going to help you educate yourself even more. In that education, I want you to remember to always listen to many voices. Don't just get stuck on one voice talking about engineering. Okay, listen to 10 or 20 or 30 different voices on engineering, because they're all going to be saying a similar thing in different ways, because we're all have a different way of approaching things. And broaden your horizons on the potential that is there for engineering, for growing plants, for growing yourself, for your emotional well-being, your psychological well-being, your energetic well-being. We're all here to learn and to grow. And when I stop learning, I'm going to be dead, period. Okay, I'm always trying every single day to bring more knowledge into my mind and then correlate that data. Where does that new information fit in? Where does Terrence Howard's information fit in with how I understand the biological systems to work, how I understand the energetic systems to work? Because it's all interconnected. It's all a flow of energy. I have to get Leighton to get somebody for redox potential to come on and talk about that, because that's an aspect we really haven't covered on the channel, is the energetic flow that happens between everything in our soils and our plants and ourselves. We're learning more and understanding more daily. There's more information coming out now about the broader aspects and interconnections, and the way that we're learning, the depth of understanding. We can grab onto that information and bringing it into ourself and expanding our horizons. You can learn to walk, and then you can learn to run, but you can't learn to run before you learn to walk. Your muscles aren't developed. So in education, it's the same thing. You're needing to use the muscle of your mind to bring yourself up and up and up. So if you want to have a perfect body, you need to exercise every single day. You need to eat properly. You need to rest properly. And it's the same on the energetic. It's the same with your mind. You need to be bringing in information into your mind every single day if you want your mind to stay active, to keep growing, to be more physically fit every single day. You need to draw more information in. And then you need to think about that information. I didn't just come up with it's all about the biology on the first day that I started listening and learning about how the system works. It took me months and months to get down to that core. And that's part of the education and learning and problem solving. If you have a problem, whether that's a leaky roof and you got drips falling on your head, you need to find the cause. You need to find the cause of that problem. You need to find out where that leak is, fix the leak, and then you have no problem. And it works really the same way in your education. find a problem, because problems make you grow, as John says, because to solve the problem, you need to find the cause and then look at the different solutions. For the leaking roof, is it, do you just need to, cover a patch with a little bit of roofing tar? Do you need to replace a shingle? Do you need to, is it have a leak through the fascia? There's so many different potential avenues for that leak. You need to research all of them and understand the different methods that water travels, down a 2x4, to be able to understand that, oh my God, I'm dripping here, but the leak's 30 feet away. It's just running down the 2x4. But if I never learned how water flows and I never climbed up into the attic and saw, then I'm just going to assume, oh, my leak is the drip is here, so that I've got a problem right above me. But that's not how it works. And that's the same with educating yourself on anything. Look at all the different avenues, look at all the different potentials, the possibilities, bring those all together, and then you can really truly assess the situation that you're in to find the solution to the problem that you have. So if you're having a problem with fungus gnats, you need to research fungus gnats. You need to research their life cycle. If I'm going to be using an application of, say, coffee, on fungus gnats, or orange juice or lemonade, is that the right thing? Is that going to affect the larvae state? Is that going to affect the pupa state, the adult state? Where is it that I can do the most effect and get the most return for dealing with fungus gnats? So if you don't have that education, you need to find someone that does to help you. And that's where I love, to be able to call people like Leighton up and go, Leighton, I can you help me with this? Well, that's being able to reach out and get more education to draw more probabilities of what it can be for a solution. That's where the education truly is the key. Leighton's, educated himself in this direction. James White has went this direction. John Berfelo has went this direction. Elaine Ingham has went this direction. By drawing the information from all of those different people, I can take all of that and apply it to a problem that I have and come up with a variety of solutions that would fix that problem. So if you're not doing the research and getting the education on all the different remedies to a problem, then you're doing yourself really a disservice, because there might be a solution that is simple, easy, that you have available, in your household to fix this problem, yet you'd never even think of it because you haven't gotten the education, you haven't done that research. So find what you're passionate about, my friends, because it's in that passion that's going to get you up and draw you on to find out more and more. Whether that's John using AI, he's finding out more and more and more, increasing the knowledge, the understanding that he personally has on all these different subjects. So he knows a tremendous amount about plants. He's been dealing with the cannabis plant for 40 years. He understands it to a depth that I simply don't, and probably never will. But because he has that base knowledge, he has developed something to help the cannabis industry through the education that he has undertaken in artificial intelligence. My help would be on the biological, how the different methods of adding biology into not only your soils, but directly into your plants. That's something that I've put in the hours and dedicated myself to learning, as well as the aspects on the energetic side, because I understand that it's not just a single pathway, it's a multitude of paths that we can travel down to get answers to the questions that we have. So there's so many different podcasts, there's so many different books, there's so many different courses that are available for us to expand our minds, our education, to be able to move forward in much more open ways. We find ourselves that we get caught in these ruts of understanding and knowledge and find it hard to break out of those ruts. By listening to more voices on that same topic, you start to find that you're going to raise yourself up out of that rut. You're going to find different things, new information that's coming available on any topic that you care to really dive deeply into, whether that's researching ancient Egypt, UFOs, aliens. There's so much information available out there that you can sift through, find the people that resonate and make sense to you as an individual. Listen to more of those voices, draw more of that in, but don't fail in your own education to listen to voices you don't necessarily agree with on a topic. Because if you don't understand their side of the argument, how can you ever expect to have a full understanding of that topic? Now, I know back in the day, they used to have debates in school where, you pick a topic and, you would have to debate the good side of that topic and then the bad side of that topic. By doing that, you get a more rounded aspect of the entire topic, and you start to be able to see the other side and why someone would think the way they think. And in doing that, you leave behind the rut that you might have been in and find yourself on a broad field of possibilities, because the possibilities are endless. Anything's possible. It may be unlikely, but it's bound to be happening somewhere in some time, in some, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the term here. Some reality. It's bound to be happening. Okay. It might not work in our plane of existence, in our plane of reality, but how many planes of reality are out there? So never count anything as impossible, even though it may be unlikely. Just keep learning. The more you learn, the more education, the better your plants are going to grow, because you're going to understand what that plant needs. You're going to understand that tomatoes need boron, where there's other plants that don't like boron. You don't want to put on a boron additive onto a plant that it's going to harm. Just like you don't want to put acid on your skin because it's going to hurt. Okay. So these are the things that you need to really understand and educate yourself on. If you want to grow a cannabis plant, if you want to grow a rose, if you want to grow anything, you need to understand what it needs, what makes the biology in that plant reach the plant's genetic potential. You want that extra pink in that pink rose. Well, what component do you need? Do you need iron? Do you need manganese? Do you need cobalt? What produces that hint of pink in that rose? If you're not supplying that to that plant, you're not going to have that pink in that rose. It doesn't have the building blocks that it needs to create that. And That's the part of the education in plants that I really wanted to bring to the fore, is understanding more on the plants that you're growing. Do that education. Give yourself that gift. And it is a gift. Our ability to learn is a gift. Use it. Use it every day. Whether it doesn't matter what you're learning, just learn. That's why we talk about and why I have off my shoulder here, however you grow, whatever you grow, just grow. It's in that knowledge, that growth, that understanding that takes you and what you're doing to the next level, whether that's growing plants, whether that's animal husbandry, whether that's building, an aquaponic system, whether that's taking a desert in somewhere in the world and turning it into a lush green forest. If you don't understand how to do that, how to capture water, how to put in swales, how to regenerate the soil that's existing in where you're trying to do it, your terroir, then you're doing yourself the disservice. You're going to struggle and fight to reach your goals because you don't have the education necessary to understand how to build that swale, how the water flows through that property, where you can capture it, how to bring it down into your soil structure more and more and more so that you can create a running creek through your property that may have been there 100 years ago. And all of a sudden, by your methodologies in capturing that water, bringing it back into the soil, you have a creek year round running on your property again. Okay. Hey, Mr. Toad. How's it going, brother? Long time, man. Big respect. And I wanted to say hi. I saw you had said hey as well. So we got Rusty Nails came in as well. Thanks, guys, for being here and listening. John, are you focused over on another channel? Or I don't even know if you have me up in the background. I think he's listening and talking to other people where we can see him. He's just going on in the background. Hey, Wanda Jeans. There's so much that education gives you that you wouldn't get if you weren't, here today. I've given tidbits here. John's given you tidbits that you can take to a new level. You can follow and move forward in your education and understanding to make you that much better. And it's not just growing plants, it's growing you. That's the almost the more important thing. Myself, I'm looking to attain the higher planes of understanding. And in order to do that, I have steps. I have a mountain that I need to climb on the educational side on how energy, frequency, and vibration fit together in the flow of the life that is around me. That's the plants, animals, etc. Starting to understand that flow and seeing things like redox potential, seeing the people that are literally drawing energy from the sky using a rod and filling up takes energy in, flashes energy out really quickly. It's not a diode. I'm not it's not flashing into my brain. But they can take energy from the atmosphere, load up this, it's like a diode. It's just not coming. But they can then discharge that into an electrical system and have free energy. This is, some of the research that I've done over decades is finding these guys that are doing this weird stuff. And all of a sudden it's like, if I look at that and understand this, and I look at this and understand it, and I can put the two together, I can create something that is totally next level. Okay. Hey, Hillbilly. There's so much potential if you're willing to look. Capacitor. Thank you, Stone. Yes, a capacitor. But I found that like 10, 12 years ago, a scientific group out in the desert in the middle of nowhere, they put this pole up, I think it was 40 or 80 feet in the air, and they were able to fill capacitors, and we're talking large scale capacitors, and then put that energy back into an electrical system. The potential we have is unlimited. That's one of the beauties of our species, is we can create these things. We can find information from sources all over the place, take that data and create something that didn't exist before. And that's one of the things, like I know Terrence Howard, I think he's got, I don't know how many patents, 60 or 80 or 90 plus patents on different things that he has created that follow the flows of energy. And I haven't actually, Lily has watched the video. I've watched parts of it, but his interview with Joe Rogan is going to blow your minds. If you guys, 97 patents, Lily says, is going to blow your mind, because really you can start to see the energetic flow. And in that flow, he's reconfigured, or actually one of the people he's studied reconfigured the periodic table of elements, and it looks like more like DNA on how it swivels down like this. It's not just a flat surface, and how one molecule leads to the next molecule on a frequency level, on the energetic, how one molecule can be broken down, how hemoglobin and the chlorophyll on our plants, and I think at the core of our blood is iron, and the plant's blood, the chlorophyll, is magnesium. Other than that, the makeup of that compound is identical, other than the two cores that start in the center. And remember, the biology unravels that. When it comes to breaking it down, it literally takes that structure and starts peeling those molecules off the outside of that. And once it gets down to that, magnesium at the center, well, you've got a magnesium molecule, and it can take that and pull that apart. Biology, is the miners of the world, guys. Free energy is real. Exactly. It is out there. And there's different ways that it can be used and created. You look at the old stamp mills, guys. Do a little bit of research on Ontario, the old stamp mills, and how they powered those huge pieces of equipment with the river and air. Everything was ran off of compressed air. And they got that air by using a river and capturing air that was in the water into a chamber, and then plumbing that compressed air into the machines to run stamp mills, thousands of tons or hundreds of tons, these arms coming up and slamming down onto the hot steel. They ran it all with air back when there was no power, no electricity. How can you run a turbine on air and make your own power? Guys, that type of research is what I love to do. I love to take the different things that have been done and try to bring them into our time zone, where they were using compressed air to build these huge, manufacturing facilities where they weren't using electricity. Why do we need electricity now? Why aren't they doing the same basic thing? Why aren't we doing the same basic thing? how large does a system like that have to be able to create enough compressed air to run a turbine? I don't know. One of the things that I would love to find out if I ever get myself a shop where I can build the things that I want to build. But yeah, one of these days I'll get an R&D shop, okay? But there's so much potential that you have. When you stop to think about our life, our energy, our focus, and our education, and the availability of information, and that's really what I would focus with AI is trying to find all the information on a particular topic, using an AI to go out and surf the internet to bring it all in and correlate it for me to make my work that much easier. It's really your chance to grow in ways that you never thought may have been possible for you, is just simply by listening to educational content on a lot of different topics. Like, I research building sciences. I like to find out what's new in astrophysics. Correlating that with building materials where they're constructing things and using technologies to improve the way we move air through our houses, how you can create almost
Okay, wait. I was just saying creating. I had to get
Okay.
in there. So I was having some fun, and I created a new rosin press with AI. It's a multi-level 3-press, and they'll be coming to you soon. I did this with Leonardo. I created it just right now. I was having fun. So I was like, I gotta create something new. I'm creating a new rosin press for multi-level pressing. It gave me this 4-ton at 3-press level, all integrated. So I mean, I'm building here right now. Just letting you know. So if you want to buy one, let me know. I'll take cash down.
John's creating from the education that he's gotten. How many times is that going to happen in an average day where you're just going to create something off the top of your head?
Right there.
Yeah.
Is that pretty cool? You guys can already see it. Now I'm going to hear what. Give me 2 seconds. I'll create a squishing too. What was I doing it there? What was I doing that? Where did I get that from? What was I doing here? Yeah. Oh, over here. Sorry. Go back this second. Back in 1 second. You guys rock. Have a great day, because I might not make it back to the end here. They're doing some pretty cool stuff right here. Cool stuff. It's
cool.
Leonardo AI, just so you know. I'll do a video on it on Wednesday. Or maybe here next Tuesday.
We'll see what happens.
How we can build cool stuff in our garage by using an AI, and then we can go in our garage and we can start screwing around for the next 5 years building it.
Yep. Well, not 5 years. You're not allowed 5 years. Only 6 months. You got to do it in 6 months, man.
I do think within 5 minutes. Yeah, 4 minutes, 20 seconds, or I'm done. So here it is. It's Leonardo. Get started. You go into creating training database, advanced funnel tune. It's cool. It's all based on stable diffusion, right? What we were talking about in the beginning. This is the end result. See?
Cool. And like Hillbilly Herb says, yeah, we got to see it squish.
Gotta see it squish. Give me a second.
Got to see it working, man. Got to see it working.
Squishing. We'll check that out, eh? Look at that one. Okay, give me a second. It only takes a second. Like, really? Now I gotta take a picture of it.
Well, I'll tell people what's coming up. We've got
okay, I'll do it next time.
Well, no, you can keep working. Keep working on what you're doing. Oh, cute. We've got Dr. Faust coming up with Leighton later today. So the creator of BioAg.
Oh, this is
Dr. Robert Faust
here too. So that fine models.
Excellent. And then of course you've got me on I almost screwed up. Grow Big TV with Joe and Corky tomorrow night. And then, of course, myself and Andy on Wednesday. And who knows, maybe we're going to be doing something with John on Tuesday or Wednesday too. We'll have to find out. Remember, We are changing the time of this show. We're bumping it by 1 hour. So instead of it starting at 10 a.m. Pacific, it's going to start at 11 a.m. Pacific. So, okay, that's it pressing? It looks like a drill press with something.
I'm just having fun.
Okay, well, maybe next week you'll have that set up, John. We can see it press in 3D, in unreality or in a different reality, because that's what AI is going to be, is a different reality.
Oh yeah, that one's pretty cool.
All right, guys.
I'm taking a course and playing at the same time. I know. I'm doing the
Peace
same
out,
thing.
everybody.
They do everything in one end. I do everything with weed and cannabis, so it's pretty cool. They do things like that, and I'm over here weed, cannabis, seeds, this, that. So I create things out of the industry. You guys are awesome. Keep learning, keep growing.
All right, guys. Peace out.